driving up to Washington, and we thought we'd do like a little car questions thing.
Car chat. Questions and answers.
Question Q&A. So we looked up some really kind of fun, quirky questions and figured like, hey, let's do them.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. These are just regular ones. What celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10?
It's not the question I expected first. Like what does that mean exactly?
I will say Justin Timberlake in all areas.
Okay.
Singing, dancing, being funny, being Justin Timberlake.
Okay. I'll agree with that. I'll go with Justin Timberlake too.
Okay. Oh my gosh. What is the best and worst purchases you've ever made?
Oh.
So best and worst
purchases.
Okay. I will start with the worst.
Okay.
The first bed that we bought as a married couple was the worst purchase, I think, and it was so big. It was the worst purchase we've ever made.
Yeah, so we bought
I could think of. Yeah.
We bought a queen size bed. It was like when we were engaged and like we were getting furniture together for our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a queen size bed from Mattress. Where did we go?
It was like a mattress store. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was one of those mattresses.
Like a King Mouth mattress or Mattress Country USA, something like that.
Yeah, Sleep Country USA.
Oh, I think that's right.
Bye bye, man. So we went there. We bought our first bed. It was really expensive.
Yeah.
We're probably still paying it off, and like the bed itself, the mattress, within like 3 months was ruined. Like one side broke and was leaning. We have no idea why.
So I have no idea. We don't know what happened, but like the mattress on Eric's side, like it collapsed basically.
Yeah, it slanted
and so he would.
I would always roll off the bed. It was ridiculous.
I know he would roll off the bed, and so I think that gave you a lot of back problems.
Yeah, I remember throwing my back out, and Amy had to sleep on the couch because I had to sleep on her side, which was flat. Yeah. So like,
oh my god,
it was a ridiculous.
Could there be anything worse? And we had to sleep on that, and for whatever reason, like they wouldn't accept the warranty or something.
Yeah,
something happened, and they wouldn't let us return it or exchange it or anything.
Yeah. So. And
we didn't have enough money for the longest time to get a new bed, so it was.
We eventually bit the bullet and just went into IKEA and bought like a cheap.
Yeah,
frame and mattress. It ended up being way better.
Yeah, we went to IKEA. We bought the cheap, because it was just the cheapest thing that we could afford.
Yeah.
And we still have that bed to this day.
Yeah, it's a great bed. I like sleeping in it.
Yeah, it works. So, if you are going to get married, just start off with a cheap IKEA bed
sure
if you don't have a lot. Yeah. Why does it look like where our screen is? Do you see that?
Oh yeah, it's vibrating pretty good.
Should I hold it?
Maybe.
Alright, I'm going to...
Oh, wow, the road got kind of...
It's weird because the road actually looks good. But, I think I'll...
So, best purchase...
Well, wait, do you have anything else that could come close to that
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking of something when I was like a kid. You know when you're a kid, you get money for like your birthday or something, and you go buy something, and then you realize, like, why did I do that? I just wasted my money. You have, like, buyer's remorse or whatever.
I don't think so. I always waited a really long time to use any birthday money or whatever, and, like, I would think about it forever.
See, I wasn't. Like, I went down, I remember getting, the first time it ever happened to me, I remember getting $50 for my birthday, which when I was, like,
that's 11, a lot of money when you're
12,
a kid.
Like, that was a ton of money. And so I went down to, there was like a comic book store, and I bought a pack of magic cards because I was into magic cards with some friends at the time.
You still are.
No, not that kind of magic, like Magic the Gathering, like the game.
Oh.
Not like magic tricks.
Oh, okay.
No, it was like Magic the Gathering, like the card game.
Yeah, I understand.
the bed definitely is probably the worst.
Yeah. What about best? Do you have a best purchase?
The best purchase.
I have a hard time with that because the things that I would like come across as like, oh, these are the best purchases, are things other people have gotten me. Like the first two things that popped into my head was my first sewing machine that I had, because it lasted like 10 years over, and technically I still quilt on it too. I just don't do regular sewing because it doesn't like my vinyl that I do, so it still is working. I just use it for quilting. Or my car, but that was also, my parents got that for me, and I've had this car since I was 16, and I'm 31, almost 32, and I've driven it all the way to the East Coast and back up to Washington and back multiple, like I've driven it. I have a 2005.
I thought it was a 4.
I don't know.
One of those.
Toyota, something around there. Toyota Corolla. I absolutely love it. So it's hard for me to think of best because like I like to think of like things I use all the time that last forever, and that like I still use right now. But I didn't buy either of those. My parents got my sewing machine for me for a gift, and they got me my car. Do you have an idea of best? Oh, sorry.
Best thing that I've ever purchased personally? Yeah, there is this engagement ring that I bought once.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
probably the best purchase I ever got.
Is it even? Yeah.
It's not gonna focus.
It's not gonna focus. That's okay.
You could probably put it back up here.
Oh, do you think it's smoother now?
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah.
There you go. There we go.
Yeah, that's way better. Sorry for the vibrations earlier. Okay, so I guess you thought of the best and I thought of the worst.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very indicative of our personality.
Pretty nice.
Yes, okay. Oh, this is a weird one. This is going to be hard. If you had to change your name, what would your new name be and why would you choose that name? Alright, I'll tell you my answer that would have been like junior high and high school me, for sure. I would have changed my name to Shanae, and that was the name that I chose in my... This is the only answer I could think of, Eric. Okay, let me explain why.
Hilarious.
That was my name that I chose in my French class because I took French from 9th to 10th. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Let me explain, Eric. Okay, because my favorite book series when I was a kid, it's by Gilbert and Lynn Morris. When I was like I think I started reading it in junior high, I'm not sure, but junior high and high school. Shanae Duvall, medical doctors. So how she spelled her name, Cheney. I had no idea how to spell it, but like
Cheney?
I don't think so, because it's French.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if I read that, it'd be Cheney.
Well, when I first read it, I thought it was Cheney.
Cheney, that makes more sense.
That's what I thought. But I was like, but then like you go and you find out like she has aunts and people from France. So I was like, oh, Shanae. So I would have, if you asked me that, it would have 100% be Shanae because that was the after the book, because I love that whole book series. And can I tell you something? I don't know if I will ever read those book series as an adult because they have like such a special place in my heart, and if I do not like them now that I'm older, it will rock my world in such a terrible, terrible way. So I do not think I will ever read those book series as an adult because I want to keep them precious and amazing in my memory.
Fair enough.
Okay, what would you change your name to?
Is it the first name?
I guess. You could change your last name if you want.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, would I change it to something really weird? Like, if I was forced to change it, would I change it to something super strange?
But you just need to answer the question.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Chris.
Why?
Oh. Because, like...
Chris Pratt? You want to be like him?
Growing up, there's a lot of Chris's. Growing up, like, a lot of people, like, I always got mistaken for Chris. And so, people like, your name Chris? Like, no, my name's Eric. You know? So I guess that's the only thing I can think of.
Let's see. What's a body part that you wouldn't mind losing? Is that too weird? Should I skip it?
No.
I'll tell you.
What?
Apparently, my gallbladder, because I already lost it.
Oh.
They took it
I was
from
thinking
me.
outside. I don't have a gallbladder either.
I know.
I guess maybe my appendix.
I think I would
really need that, I guess.
gladly people take off moles or skin tags. I would love that.
I have a bunch of skin. I ripped them off the other day, right here.
Ugh.
Yeah. Whoops.
For my entire life, I don't know if you guys could see, but I have this like gigantic, huge mole, like huge mole, like on this part of the ear. And sometimes people will make comments about it, but it never bothered me because I was just like, well, I can't see it. Like it's very awkward for me to try to see it. But the doctors always look at it and they're like, oh, it's fine. And then, but I do have one on my back that drives me nuts. So I would choose moles.
She's always itchy. She's like, can you itch this spot? What's this spot? I'm like, that's your mole.
I know.
Oh, and then like a week later, she's like, can you itch this? What's the spot? I'm like, it's your mole.
Okay. All right. What's your biggest screw up in the kitchen?
Oh.
Let me answer. Can I answer?
Yeah.
Because you know it's my biggest screw up in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think we might have already told this story before, but alright. So when we were first like dating and together, Eric and I have very, very different preferences when it comes to food and stuff. And I think it was more different in the beginning. Especially in the beginning. Because he's getting better, but man, what is this guy picky? He likes ground beef. So some of the favorite things he would always like ground beef for like tacos and stuff, which like that's probably spaghetti. My least. He would like it for spaghetti. So many things. Like if he was ever to eat anything other than chicken fingers, it would be ground beef. It was basically ground beef in some sort of form or like breaded chicken fingers. Yeah. And then he really liked mashed potatoes. And so there's this recipe that we had in a cookbook called shepherd's pie, which is basically mixing his two favorite things. And I was like, oh, Eric is going to love it. Now, mashed potatoes, I could go for the rest of my life and not eat mashed potatoes, even though I am very good at mashed potatoes now.
She's sneaky good at mashed potatoes.
I have no idea. It's one thing in the kitchen that I'm very confident in making is mashed potatoes. But anyway, so mashed potatoes, I don't really care about. Ground beef, really don't care about unless it's in hamburger form. But there was like this shepherd's pie or cottage pie or something like that I found in recipe. So I was like, oh, I'll make Eric something special and it'll be new, because I was really working like in the beginning of our relationship of getting him like out of the box and out of his comfort zone, because like I love trying new food and he just doesn't. So I was like, okay, this is technically new, but it's ingredients that he already likes. Would you like to tell how it went?
It went really poorly. It was probably the worst thing she's ever. Well, it is the worst thing.
It's the worst thing I've ever made.
We both took one bite and was like, nope.
I don't know what either.
I think we ended up going to dinner that night.
Yeah, we had to go out because it was so bad.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what went wrong with it. Maybe we just don't like her.
Well, I
don't know.
I don't know. It was super gross.
I will never.
Were there like peas in it too, though?
I don't think I would put peas in it because I don't like peas.
Okay. I feel like there was something in it that was made.
Well, I know that there was onion.
There was extra juice. Yeah, it was just, the whole thing was really weird. And
it was like weirdly dry too. I just did a terrible job.
Yeah,
I don't know if like maybe shepherd's pie is good. If you like shepherd pie, please let us know. And if you have a recipe that you think is good, because maybe we could.
Yeah, maybe we could try a new one.
Maybe after we're done losing weight and stuff.
Yeah, but the interesting thing though is like I don't even use ground beef to make anything anymore. I've completely gone into like using turkey.
Yeah, now you use ground turkey.
I use ground turkey for tacos and for spaghetti, like all sorts of stuff. So.
And it's funny because recently I've been really enjoying using like the 96% lean ground beef. Now I'm really liking that, which is so funny. But anyway, that's my biggest screw up in the kitchen. It was disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever screwed up too much. The thing, especially when I was like at bachelorhood, I like didn't really cook except for like frozen pizzas and spaghetti. That was
SpaghettiOs.
Well, yeah, but like when I would cook itself, like that's just microwaving something. You can't screw that up.
Frozen pizza is just putting it in the oven.
I'm just saying, like I don't know if I've ever made something that was so horrible that like I had to throw it away. I mean, I've probably burnt stuff before, but she takes this one.
What?
You're the winner of this one.
Oh, okay. Yes. But also, like, obviously, if you eat if you watch some of our What I Eat in a Day, there are recipes that I've made that are just like, nope, don't like this, nope, not good. You know? So like, I screw up, but I feel like
that's not really screwing up. That's just like, oh, we don't like this recipe.
Well, that could be the same with the cottage chicken. It was just like the first time I was really trying to make you something nice.
It's just like,
it was gross.
So gross.
So gross. All right, are you ready for another question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so this question is, what is the dumbest way you've ever been injured? Oh, I actually have a good story for this too.
Okay, why don't you start?
Okay, so if you don't know, hi, my name is Amy, and I am not a risk taker, like in any way, shape, or form. So I have not gotten injured a ton because I don't really take risks. But one thing that happened was that we got Razor scooters. Do you guys remember? Are Razor scooters still a thing?
I feel like they still a little bit are.
Okay. I don't know. They're cool. I like
what they are. I mean, they're the little tiny scooters.
Yeah. So anyway, we got Razor scooters. My brother and I. My brother is 2.5 years younger than I am, and so we got Razor scooters one Christmas, and man, we loved them. But so there was this. We lived right down, so there was like kind of like a community pool at the end of our street, and then there was a park right next to it, and then there was like a hill, and it was the tiniest, like, it was basically,
not even a real hill?
No, it wasn't a hill, it was like just like a slight incline down. And so every single time we would go ride around in the park, or we would go ride around in the neighborhood and stuff like this, I would get off my Razor scooter, which is probably like this far, maybe like 2 inches from the ground. I would get off and I would walk it, and my brother would always be like way far ahead of me, and I would like almost never catch up to him until like I just won't catch up to him. And so he kept on trying to convince me to just go down the hill, like just fall down the hill. And so finally he convinced me, and I did it, but I was really nervous about it. And so I was riding the scooter down the hill, and then my brother, like, I think he either like clapped or was like, oh, good job, Amy, or like he was encouraging me some way. And so like I turned my head to look at him, to look and smile, like, I'm doing it, you know. And then when I did that, my Razor scooter was heading towards the grass, and the grass ledge was probably like this big or whatever. And so while I was doing that, I totally like my Razor scooter hit the grass, and it like stopped it, and I flipped over the front of the handlebars of my Razor scooter, and it kind of like knocked the wind. Oh, I just thought of another story. Kind of knocked the wind out of me. Can I tell another story of when I was really clumsy? Okay. So at church, we were going to like Sunday night church one time, and I was going through like a growth spurt. I don't know how old I was, but I was going through a growth spurt. So it was just, once again, my brother and I, and we were trying to play tag or whatever. And so I was running to try to tag him because I was it. And the way that our playground was like, there's like a bridge, or there's some stairs that were connecting to go up to go to a slide. So he ducked, and he ducked under, because we were going on the ground. So he was like running, ducked under the stairs to like go pop out on the other side. And so I was following him, so I was running. I ducked, but because I was growing taller and I didn't realize that I was getting taller, I did not duck far enough. So I was like full on running, and then I like bam ran my forehead smack into the stairs, and I knocked myself out for like a couple of seconds because I didn't. I know. And so Mom had to take us home and we didn't go to church because I knocked myself out for a little bit. But anyway, those were my stories.
That's funny.
Basically me being clumsy. So how did you injure yourself?
So I have two. I'll do two. So the first one was, they happened within a year of each other. So when I was in junior high, I had a group of friends I hung out with that were in my neighborhood, and we would always go up with our bikes to these trails. It was this place, so it was in Bremerton, where I grew up. It was behind this place called Skateland. There was a bunch of like BMX dirt bike trails, and it was called Hell's Holes. I don't know where it got that nickname, but that's the area. And so people would go paintballing up there. It was just like the woods behind a golf course and behind the skating rink. And so apparently it's been cleared out and it's now all houses and stuff. But so I had a group of friends, and we had just like decided to go up there to do some trail riding, and I never ever went first because I knew that I would probably crash my bike if I went first.
Why?
And so just because, I don't know, just because like there's a lot of pressure, you have to go faster than everybody or they collide into you kind of a thing.
Oh.
And I was never super comfortable going fast on those trails because they're kind of, big hills that you do jumps on and stuff. And so this time they coaxed me to go first. I was like, all right, I'm going to go first. And of course, pretty much immediately I go up one side, but I kind of lost control of my bike because I was going so fast. And instead of lifting my hand, like lifting up to land properly, I landed on the front of my wheel and I flipped over my handlebars. And I slid on the whole side of my face, and then I hit a rock. And so it knocked me out. And so there was a guy who was like walking his dog up there. And so I woke up to some dude standing over me with his dog licking me, like being like, dude, are you okay, young man? Because he was older. I was like 15 or something like that. And like I woke up and like my whole side of my face was all bloody, and like I was really dazed and kind of confused, and like it was hard to breathe, a little hard to breathe. And so like my friends were like, they didn't really know what to do. And so like my friend's cousin was with us, and he had not really stolen, but he took a huge handful of wet naps from like McDonald's when we'd gone there for lunch for some reason. Super weird. But we
Did he clean it up?
So the wet naps, he had stolen a bunch of the wet naps from McDonald's, and like luckily he had, because he started handing them to me, and I was sort of like wiping my face off because it was bleeding. And so at that point I obviously had a concussion because I don't remember a ton of this. I remember like getting the wet naps, but we walked down. I don't remember walking back because it was just down the hill or up. We walked down this hill and across the street to go to the place where we lived because it was really close to where we lived. And like they walked me back to my house, and I called my mom. And I remember getting home and calling my mom because she panicked, and I remember her panicking. But I don't remember driving to the hospital. I don't remember like most of the stuff. The most thing I remember about the hospital was the ER nurse basically was like, all right, I need to scrub out the rocks from your face, so I'm gonna scrub for 5 seconds and basically like he's like, all right, here we go, 1, 2, and I was like, that's not fast enough. And so like, because it was super painful, he had to like get all of the stuff out of luckily I don't have any scars on my face from it, which is great. But I had a concussion. I know, I had a concussion and I had a broken rib. So I'd broken a rib, which is why I was having trouble breathing so much. And so that, like, I remember that was just like, it was a really bad bike crash.
He is very accident prone.
Well, when I'm doing like active things, yeah. The other thing was about a year later, I was really into skateboarding. And I had a skateboard, but didn't have any grip tape on it. And if you don't know anything about skateboarding, grip tape is very important for keeping your feet on the board, especially when it's raining, especially in Washington. And you decide that you're a novice skateboarder, but you want to go out and skateboard in the rain with a board with no grip tape, and you go over a speed bump, and your foot slips off, and you land directly on the speed bump, and then you break a rib on the other side of your body. And then I chipped an elbow, So I had my arm in a sling and a broken rib for like a month after that. And I still have issues. It's this arm, where sometimes it gets stiff and I'll have to shake it and it makes this horrendous popping sound. So
your poor mother.
I know.
What she had to deal with all of your accidents and stuff like that.
So yeah, those are the dumbest things I've done to break ribs or break any bones or hurt myself. So I could go on for hours talking about how many injuries I've had, but
yeah. Well, do you think we should call it for this episode of Car Chat?
Car Chat. So thanks for joining us. Like we said, we're super bored. We figured like, hey, let's just do a funny video.
Let's just try to get to know each other. Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up, and if you like us doing these more, we'll totally do more questions.
Yeah, this is actually kind of fun.
If you have questions for us, let us know, and maybe we'll do a whole video.
Not weird questions.
Yeah, based on the questions you asked. So thanks for joining us today. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and we hope you have a great day.
And thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Bye.